Right then guys, so as promised we've continued exactly where we left off. I've just basically gone to the Streamlabs end of the video recording and then restarted it back up just to segregate these little videos. So, hey up, get back up. Wait, get back down, where you going? I want to go back on the AP, man. Fucking captain. So there he is, back on that passenger liner. Destroyer's still out there. We're gonna speed up on this course. So we've still got that 010 as our course heading. So we're gonna speed up, catch up with this convoy. Maybe give it one last speed reading just to try and confirm if it was. It's definitely not 3.9. I know it's not 3.9 for the speed, because if you look, I am not 90 degree onto that ship. I am not 90 degree onto that ship. I can tell visually from here that I am not. Because you can also see these king posts here. They're not one solid bar. You can actually physically see the H. So I know I'm not 90 degree onto that ship. I am not on the same course. Let's bring it in by 50 degrees just to get a little bit closer. Oh, where are they going? Just to get a little bit close to this convoy so we can do our next part of this calculation. We're basically trying to get the true course of this convoy. Once we've got that, when we're setting things like TDC work to send off torpedoes by using something like this, we could then pretty much put our attack periscope like this on the 0 marker, and then what we can do is go over here, obviously select AP, but I won't do that now, is just spin that to like a 180, and then at that point we'll be like bang on the right angle. When we decide to turn our periscope to them, it'll give us the correct angle on bow. You know, that's what would happen. But at the moment we've not done that because obviously we're not selected to AP tracking. We don't know the course yet. Well, this is going to be paramount when it comes to the nighttime attack. You know, that's something that will help you out dramatically, because the key is with this. A nighttime attack is to follow the convoy, stable, at the right speed, not drifting into them, not pulling away from them, and not catching up with them or slowing too far down, just basically staying with them at decks awash, which I'm going to have to do in a second, to do all your work that you need to do. You know, take your time, calculations, a lot of things like that. So right, here we go. Electric engines, slow speed. I'm going to fill the forward ballast. I am then going to fill the rear ballast, and I'm going to go back up and close that hatch, because we're going to end up going under the water just a little bit. The only reason being is that I really do like to trim the tank to 7.5 on depth on the meters. The pure fact is it lowers your profile that much. It's very, very hard for destroyers, anybody in the convoy, to spot you. It even is very hard for other U-boats to spot you as well, because you're only showing, I don't know, maybe 2 meters, 1.5 meters out of the water, if that, and it's only like about a 5 meter, 4 meter length, maybe 5 meters or so on your conning tower. I don't know the exact dimensions, but that's what it looks like, you know, visually. And if you, I'll demonstrate that to you in a moment. When we go on the lower deck, or we should say upper deck, either way. When we go on the water, when we go on the outside of the boat, we'll jump on the deck and we'll show you the water line to where the convoy is, and you'll be like, wow, that's low. So different ways to do things like decks awash. My personal view is fill the ballast tanks and just basically take it out 45 or just a touch above it like that, and we'll end up going decks awash. Let me just sort this out, because obviously this is a bot now trying to bring us back up to the surface, lower us back down to the surface, but I don't want him to do that. So diesel engines, full battery, the charge battery, full speed ahead. So the other way to do this is fill the ballast tanks. This is the correct way, full of ballast tanks, and obviously adjust your trim. For me, what I've worked out is you would basically fill your ballast and you'd probably empty your trim tank entirely until this port says 0, and that would then keep your decks awash. That's the correct way to do it. Obviously it's sometimes better practice to do it that way, because when you get people coming through here and they go like this, they might pull the left mouse button and open the ballast up, and if you're at 45, they're going to fill your throttle with ballast and it's going to go to 50, and then it's going to pull you under the water and you're going to flood your engines. So depending on who you got on your crew, who's going to be joining random people, things like that, you want to pay a bit of attention to things like that, you know. So different ways doing different things, but yet achieving the same things. There's just many ways to skin a cat, so to speak, you know, that's the saying. So convoy is here, destroyer is here. I'm now going to bring us in 10, bearing 10, so we're going to turn full 90. And we're then going to slow down to that speed that we originally calculated. Actually not yet, we're going to try and get another speed reading, aren't we? If we get the opportunity to do so. But the main thing is for me to try and plot this convoy and try and get their bearings, so to speak, their course. But there's different ways to do that. You can literally turn your periscope to 90, and then when you get something like a ship with the king post like that one over there, and those posts perfectly align and you are looking 90 degrees in your periscope, you will then know that you are on their course line. And if it deviates, like if you go faster than it, then you've obviously got the wrong speed, but that could also be part of the course change. But like I said, if you start off with the speed, get that right first, then when it comes to doing the adjustments, because you may be overshooting the perfect alignment, then you might be going at the wrong angle away from them, or being towards them. If you're falling behind, then you might be going to the wrong angle away from them, so you won't have a correct course line. So then you adjust your course to try and get the perfect alignment until you basically bang on, and that will then give you the heading. So what I'm going to do then, right now, is we can work from that there. I can see the information. Hold on, my game's gone blank. What was that? So we're going to slow it down. Let's bring it down to dead slow. So we was about 480 on RPM, maybe 500. So I'm lowering this down now. I do know around about 4 knots is about 130 on RPM, just over practice. So let's go. So engine 10% slow on the left, on the port side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That should bring us to 130 RPM. There it is, perfect. So I don't know what the current speed is right now. It says there on the top is 7.1 knots, dropping quite quick as well. So we'll get there eventually. So what I'm going to do now at this point, we've got a course line of 10 degrees. I'm not going to deviate from that for quite some time. I do want to start showing angle as well on that. That's our course line, 10 degrees. Our true north is facing that way, that's fine. So what we'll do when we look at the periscope is we'll take the numbers from the bottom, which is my magnetic. Obviously the top part is the bearing, so we'll use the magnetic to try and, so I don't have to change the compass then, to measure this distance from this ship and the correct bearing. So we'll always use the front of the ship to get the right bearing. So I'm going to say at the moment that guy is 2.5 on centre radians from waterline to the mast height. Let me have a quick look at the calculation that's going to give me. So 2.5 is stating that this guy is 5,760 hectometers. So if I were to look at him right there, we are at 77. I don't want to use that line there, do I? No. I want to put a little bit of a cross right there. And back on that. So 77. And how far did I say it were? 5,700. And 60. That'll do 5764, that'll be close enough. We're only out by 4 meters. So to me that is stating that that ship is there right now. I just calculated the distance and well, if you look at this right now guys, I've not moved the periscope, but as you can see we're going ahead of them. Obviously I don't know what our true speed is right now, but previously we were around about 7 knots when I started that calculation. We're now at 4 knots. So if everything stayed the same, then we've got the right course line just by visually looking at them, but it doesn't appear to be so. So potentially we might be going away from them, or we might be going into them, but we'll figure that out in a moment. So I'm starting a timer. There it is. 3 minutes from now I will take a new distance reading and a new bearing on the magnetic compass, the one at the bottom. The reason being, if I keep doing that and keep doing it again and keep doing it again, what eventually will happen, if I were to draw a line from this first point of contact to wherever it might be, then I'll get the convoy's course. You know, that's how it works. You might have to wait 5 minutes in between each bearing. It depends how fast they are going and how fast you are going, you know. Because you might only get very minute changes, like say like this, like that, you know. You might get very small distances from where I am to where they are, which is not always a bad thing. But if you were to do one here and then they've only got to like here, then even the smallest amount of difference in meters would make an absolute massive difference. It really would, and you may end up with the wrong course. So we'll just give it time and have a look. That's all we can do. Like I said, there's different ways to do this. There's always different ways to do one thing and then do another, you know. As you can see now guys, it looks like we're, I don't know if I've moved that periscope more than what I did previously. So a nice stable speed, there's nothing changing us, we're staying at 4 knots, that's where we are. So if you want, we can give it another calculation when it gets to 3 minutes. We can wait till the 5 minutes and just see what the difference would be. There's so many different ways to do this kind of thing, but like I said, once you've got that course heading, that's it. There's nothing else really that needs to be done. So as I was going to do a second ago as well, you'll let you know about the speed calculation. So what it is, basically the length of the ship. So let's go back to the ship. The length of the ship was 150 meters, sorry. So then what you do is divide that by the time. So say it took us, I can't remember how long it was. 60 something seconds, wasn't it? 65, 67 seconds or something. So you divide the length by the amount of seconds, and then you times it by 1.94, and what that will do will give you the speed of that ship in knots. And that's one way how to get that done. The calculation is basically the mast height divided by the radiance going up and down, as you can see there, and then at that point you times that by 4 if you fully zoomed in, or if you zoomed out, times by 2, and that'll give you the distance in hectometers. So we've come up to the we'll wait 3.5 minutes and we'll get that calculated distance. So right now I'm going to make that 2.4 on center radians. Work that out. And what is the bearing? Not quite 78. It's closer to 78 than it is 79, so yeah, we'll call it 78. So let's put this new marker there. So 78. What was the distance? 6,000. Right, so what we've got there then. So that's saying 32 just by doing 2. If I could do another one, which I will do to be a bit more precise, then we'll get the bearing, the distance on these ships. You know, we really will. We'll find out their convoy. So that's the way it's looking so far at 32. So time is still ticking. We'll do one more. We'll wait till it gets to 7 minutes, so that means we've done 2 calculations, one at 3.5. 3.5 minutes in between each other. And then we'll know. Then we can basically start working on setting the attack. We've got the speed, we've got the course, you know, that's what we need. The game is not about rushing, you know, it's taking your time, getting things right, because at that point your attack's going to be perfect. And it becomes even more perfect if you can then coordinate with another U-boat. That's the essence of it, you know, it's Wolfpack. Granted, at the beginning of the war, it really wouldn't have, well, beginning of the convoys, it really wouldn't have been ideal for them to start doing things like packing as wolves and so on, because the convoy was just, there wasn't actually packed in as convoys. They were more or less single ships going about here and there, or a few ships at a time, so setting up as a big pack wouldn't be beneficial for U-boats at that particular point. But as time went on, then obviously it did become that as well. It did become the best way to do it, you know. But obviously the U-boat captains were also in situations where if you got an opportunity to take a ship out, take it out, you know, don't wait for everybody else. But being a game as well, you know, bringing people into the community and using your radios as well and just doing things together, it's going to be so much better, you know, it really is. Work as a pack. And later on as the game develops and start bringing in things like manned destroyers, corvettes, whatever, then working out a tactic with other crews is going to be beneficial, you know. You know where the convoy is, you don't have to go and attack straight away as soon as the game begins. You can delay your attack, do it later on. You can all meet up at once and then go out together, you know. Or you can, if things might spawn in at particular points, you might be ahead, some guys might be behind, you know. So we'll get to start working on this calculation right now then. Right, I'm going to say that is, I don't know, it's got to be like a 2.2, 2.3, what would that be? Let's try 2.2. It might be 2.3. What I need to do is get a bearing, 79. So we'll mark that up again. So 79, what was the distance? 6,005. The thing is though, It could even be the it could have been 2.3 on that calculation, but I will do both just in case. That's 6,200. So what's that? That's saying it's 40. That's there. That's 54. So I think it might be more to do with the 2.3 there. And what would that be? 6,002. Right, okay, so what would that be then? That's 34, 30. So from there 32, from there is 34. Would we go in between that and say 31? That's saying 38 there, so we're definitely out on meters. Obviously the further away we get, the more difficult it is to get the true calculation. So let's just say 30. Between 31 and 34, sorry, 30 and 32 and 34 is the convoy's course. So let's get rid of that there. We don't need that. So that's pretty much it then, guys. So we've got an estimated on the course line. Let's just put that there. And obviously he is pretty much nearest towards us. There's a good few more lines there. So let's just estimate this and say that's how wide the convoy is. It could be wider. Right, so let's just say that's the convoy line then. Not 100% accurate, so we're saying between 32 and 34. So convoy, that's where it's going, that's where it is, you know. I don't think we need to put in that many. The convoy might only be 2. In terms of distance, but I've not really looked at it, worked it out. We could probably work it out. Let's just say, right, okay, so it's 67. 67 from current position. So we're on that course line, right, convoy that long. So we was kinda on it, weren't we? Try and get it a bit more precise then. Right, so yeah, we know where the convoy is. Let's just say that's the thickness, the length of it. So let's have a look at that. Would be in meters, shall it? $3,939 meters. It's not a big convoy, is it? You know, it's big enough. It's yeah. Right. Okay. So we've got that set. That's basically getting the course set and everything else. So what we'll do then, guys, is we'll continue with the next part of the video. So I'm going to basically leave it as it is right now. We're going to move in and get on the right course, and we're going to aim for a position, let's just say from the convoy, anything from 3,000 to 4,000 meters away from it. The destroyer may be around this area here, so long as we maintain 2,000 meters away from him. So that, say if we was here, right here is where I'm aiming for on a convoy. Depending where the destroyer is, I might be able to get there if the destroyer is further up front. But I'm trying to keep the same distance away from the convoy and the same distance away from the destroyer. So we'll see how that goes. Alright, we'll see how it goes. So we'll leave it from there and we'll take it on the next video. Back in a sec.